and
had
no one
sex
else
with a
has to
virgin
be
recently.
molested. What?
Y'all are talking about
Strap on?
Y'all are talking about incels.
And you
what
took her
to
jacket.
do.
That's fucked up. That's crazy.
It was like he. Y'all are talking about incels like school shooters. What are you doing about it? I'm out there fucking them.
You had sex with a male virgin. How old were they?
I'm not telling you.
You had sex with an underage man.
No, he was.
You had sex with an underage man.
No, very old, much older virgin.
How old?
On the road.
How old?
Over 25.
You believed him?
Yes, actually.
You fucking idiot.
By the way,
There is no way.
Nobody
Swear
saved
to
it
God.
for
Playing
that long.
that for fucking years. You know, oh yeah, I never had sex before. And
Yeah,
then
what
you
kind
come
of
home
dork doesn't have
embarrassed
sex till
now.
after 25? Fucking losers.
dude, you're not. You don't.
You out here
fucking
dicking
losers.
down fans, bro? That's
This was
crazy.
the first time I've ever
Call
done-
a pound
No,
stone.
it's the first time. How dare you, dude? How dare you? Because that's the other thing. I'm looking down the barrel of the female comedians that, like, dude, this doesn't end well. Who does this end well for? Female comedian.
Joan of Arc or whatever. What's it? Joan
Rivers, that
yeah.
ended well for her.
It did not.
Yeah,
Phenomenal.
she's killing it.
I know,
think she has
but
so much
like,
respect.
That's true, but I think
People love her.
But she hated towards the end that she was like doing fashion police stuff and
So
was
then
like
stop
doing
doing it. I don't like that shit where, like
celebrity gossip shit. I don't like to get into
Don't
that.
complain about the shit you choose to do.
Or you become gay, or you become an activist. I know, that's what I'm saying. No, I'm.
You went
you're two
activist
for three.
first.
That's pretty
Dude,
good.
remember,
When was I an activist?
Remember when you would call me and be like, dude, they totally think I give a fuck about animals. And we would have these calls. Do you remember that? Be like, oh, giraffes. Oh, what a stupid fucking animal. I don't get it. You would call me and shit on animals all the time. And then you'd go out and make your little videos. Like, I gotta save a zoo. A zoo's gonna burn in California, right? And you would call me just laughing and mocking these people. Remember that?
No, I don't.
This is when you need your empty gun.
But you do care about animals. You do care about it. You dated a veterinarian.
Or what is going on?
You dated
at
a veterinarian.
home?
Stop
What
doing
is
it. You're doing it again.
But there's
Every
some-
time you're in a corner,
You're.
you project.
I'm not- I
Can we
just-
talk about you and the animals?
Sure, yes.
You were in love with a veterinarian.
I dated a veterinarian during the pandemic.
You
yes,
didn't
sir.
love him.
I did. What's love? I mean, what are we
Maybe
doing?
don't hurt me.
That's
Strong.
crazy.
What are we doing?
That's
What are we doing?
You're
That's a
evil.
hard
yo.
no.
Hold on. My thing with
That's crazy.
No, it's not. My thing with love is that word was used a lot to control me as a
Dude,
kid.
the whiter your fingers get, the bigger the lie is. The second that you're out here like this,
Why would I
that
lie?
was
Like-
used as a controlling mechanism. You could love the
How many
veterinarian.
people have you said you loved before?
Thousands, I think.
When, like, what's your definition of love? Like, when do you know you're in love with someone?
That's a good
It's like
question.
Jerry Maguire, you know when
That's
you
a
know.
good question. But I'll tell you this.
Do you love me?
I love you.
Yeah, but that's not in love.
No, but in love, I'll tell you that you feel, at least for me, I felt it in different ways. And with my wife, I felt it in a way.
My way.
That was very boring.
No, but I felt it in a way I never felt with anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how did that manifest? Because I remember a guy friend of mine said to me once something like very simple.
Second date.
Oh, wow.
Second date, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fall in love with this woman. Second date.
How did you know? Like, was it just
I want
an
to-
energy? Wasn't conscious?
I want to listen to everything she had to say, and I want to share everything that I had with her. And I think that was it. It wasn't even like on some, like,
I wanted to listen to her.
Well, by the way, this is like a guy friend of mine who's like, you know, gets it
It's a
in.
beautiful story. I almost started crying. And then you were like, I just wanted to listen to
Yeah, I
it.
know. I got serious. This shit felt like the Burt Kreischer roast for a second. Bro. Everyone's crying.
For the first time in my life,
On the
I found a
Berkshire
woman
Road,
interesting.
I got emotional.
clear here that not everybody has fallen in love yet, but it's okay.
Also during the
They'll
book
find love eventually.
my mom was in 7-day hospice. She was on her 7th day of fucking
Yeah.
home hospice. This bitch,
Are you
dude.
comparing your dying mom to my wife right now?
No, I'm just saying the crying and the roast, this seems to be a sticking point for everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like my mom was in 7 days of hospice, so I'm at fucking Kaiser Permanente, which fuck that place, by the way. I have umbrella insurance, I'm protected.
Yeah.
So I went to Kaiser Permanente once,
Yeah.
and look how bored he gets when it's like not just
That was
just
It's not the
bored
second date. That's what happens.
out
That's
of
how you
his
know you're in
mind.
love with you, Whitney.
What do
never
you want
question
to
this man's
do?
I'm
emotions.
not in love with her. I love her.
I know.
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
her. I do.
like, you know.
I care about you and I care about your well-being and I want everything to work out for you and I
doesn't
would
care
help
about your
you if you
stories.
ever need anything. I mean that sincerely.
Thank you.
And you don't even trust it because so many people have fucked you over in life or something like that. So you're
No,
like,
I do trust it. That's not true at all. I'm very close to me.
Giving me like Irish boxer pose. No, I care about you deeply and I want everything to work out. So for me, that is love. But being in love with somebody has happened a few times in my life.
Yeah.
And the last time was the most profound version of it.
But do you feel like that the amount of time like you knew on the second date, do you think that you can still love someone the way you love Emma, but not know that soon? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think it?
Give me a hypothetical.
Like, for love to happen, does it have to be that soon? Is my question. Because sometimes I'll be with someone for like 6 or 7 months, and I'm like, do I just give it more time?
I love my wife way more now than I did on our second date.
That's so cool.
But there was something that happened. There was something that happened on the second date where I was like, whoa, this is different than anything I've ever experienced.
Has there ever been a fight where you're like, or a thing you're like, I don't know?
No. There's been difficulties, of course, but there's never been a thing where like, I don't love this person anymore.
Right.
I've stopped loving them.
Was there something that you did differently with her where it's like with other people, like in a fight or whatever, for lack of a better word, you'd be like, oh, that's bullshit. But with her, you just like acted differently? Not
necessarily, but I also think it's not just, I don't know, I think that I don't feel in fights that it's over ever.
Right. It's about.
She makes me feel. There's something that she does not in the fight, outside of the fight. And I hope that there's something I do outside of the fight that makes us feel like, hey, this thing sucks. We need to fucking work this out. I'm being a little immature motherfucker. She's being an immature motherfucker. But it doesn't feel like it's kind of over,
I feel
which
like
is a nice
for
feeling.
me, I think that's kind of love when you feel like you're fighting for something instead of fighting with someone and you're like on the same team, even though, because to me, like in fights, I'll instantly be like, the biggest leverage is leaving.
Yeah, but that
so it's like you go to that, but that's like, you got to stay in the ring.
Fear,
but
though.
that doesn't come
fear.
from a lack of love. That comes from insecurity and emotional immaturity.
Yeah.
I used to get with like, I love my wife so much, but when I was less mature emotionally, there would be fights where I'd be like, I don't know if this is worth it. And now, and I think you'll know when you're in love, because when you're in love, you're like, this sucks. Let's just do this. We're gonna deal with this. It's gonna be okay. But this.
But don't define the love by the fights.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest issue.
Well, I guess for me, it's like I always thought like love. It's not about how, what it's like when things are going well. It's about when things are hard. You know? So
think about when it's going well. Like how much fun is it when it's going well? That's what I think keeps you together. It's like,
I guess I just haven't had a fun life yet. Like I also was. People are like, you have intimacy issues. You don't want to be with someone. It's like I didn't want to be with someone when I had a mom hanging off of a thing. Like I was engaged to a guy, man off Raya, awesome dude. And when we started planning the wedding, I just couldn't picture my mom in a wheelchair and like who was gonna walk me down the aisle. Like I just couldn't.
Yeah.
So now that she's dead, I feel like I can.
I understand what you mean now when you say either you feel free.
It's just like there's a point where you realize like, am I my mother's daughter? Am I my own person? And I guess I never got to be my own person just because I was in the shadow of her illness. And
I think you suffer from being too smart sometimes. Where I think that you can like intellectualize every aspect of your behavior and find a justification for it somewhere on the
I think that's what we do as stand-ups, but when you turn on yourself, like we're these, analysts, like
you almost need to be able to like shut your brain off and just be, to quote Liver King, primal for a second.
I'm trying, dude.
I know it's hard, right?
Dude, I'm doing 2 hobbies now. I'm taking on 2 hobbies that I'm not allowed to turn into businesses.
You're an awesome example because like you're trying so hard to just be a human.
It's retarded.
And like you're like, I'm gonna have a hobby.
No, it's
I'm gonna have another one.
Because I also became a comic. Like I knew I would like growing up. Like,
but
all the
being
jokes,
a comic is your most authentic state. I genuinely mean that.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I think being a person is way harder for
when
you.
You grew up in an
than
alcoholic
just
home.
being-
That's what you are. You're a comic. You're making people laugh.
Yeah.
You're like literally getting people drinks.
This is you. This is you being in this kind of manic state, making things funny, like roasting, having great ideas,
always
putting
have
them
to be
together.
10 steps ahead. Always have to have 9 backup plans for jokes.
But what
and
makes
things
you
to
so
talk
good
about.
at this is what makes life so difficult.
And also growing up with in an alcoholic home, like if you're they're scatterbrained, so me being all over the place like is linear to them.
Same. I grew up in an alcoholic house, and there's a lot of peacemaking and just making sure everybody's.
Oh yeah, and then
let's just not
you're
cause
the mediator.
conflict.
You have to shapeshift. You have to be a chameleon, like narcissist. You have to and then also defining yourself through your productivity and usefulness to others, and like entertaining people, and then as you get older, it's just like annoying. Like you're just the annoying people pleaser who like won't turn off, kind of thing. But I think it's weird because I got on the TV. I remember as a kid going like, I have to get in the box. Like I saw Happy Families in the box, and I
Or
was like,
did your family value what was in the box?
well, yeah. Well, my dad, like they would watch TV,
Yeah.
and I
what
watched.
usually comes from
But
that.
commercials is what I wanted though. I didn't even want to be in movies. I wanted to be in commercials
Wow, that's
that's
interesting.
that's where the Happy Families were. I was like,
Yeah.
I gotta get there, dude. That's where the fucking food is on the dinner table.
Everybody's
like, Dude, the
happy.
fridge is like, how do I get in there? I would literally drive by like on whatever family trips, and there would be like an exit for a McDonald's, and everyone would be like, let's get off at McDonald's. All I would see is like, why is that kid eating the fries? Like I could do that.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I think that there's a perfect example of you intellectualizing a situation, but that's not the real reason. I think that your dad watched that TV,
Yep.
and that was the most important thing in
How
his
do I
life.
get his attention?
And I need
100.
to get in there to get his attention, his validation. And that is often what children do. The only reason I started boxing or enjoy boxing or I did a boxing match is because I knew how much my dad loved boxing.
Yeah.
My dad gave me all the validation. And even with all the validation from my
enough.
dad, maybe this would impress him even more. And he was so impressed and it felt so good. So it's like we subconsciously are drawn to the things that our parents really care about. Even if we resent our parents, we still want their validation.
Because it's like a
But
reptilian brain.
see how smart you are? You're like, you created this perfect, beautiful story of like, there's a family eating McDonald's and I want that. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You would have been a commercial actress if you did.
Dude,
but you created great
I could not
shows.
book a commercial to save my life. I went in, they always said I sounded sarcastic. I'd
are
be like,
sarcastic.
try Tide with bleach. It's the best for your Tide.
McDonald's, it's super good.
Yeah, like literally.
I don't believe that girl.
I know, they always said I was too sarcastic.
Your dad
but-
would change the channel. You're like, come on. I
but I mean,
finally got in
it's-
it.
It's also like the jury's still out if I'm the progressive lady or not, so maybe I am in commercials. But it's wild though, because I was like, that's where the love
You are you're lesbian and trans now. You are the progressive.
I'm very progressive.
Yeah. Now you're on birth control. You are flow. You are flowing. That's perfect.
So hard. It was so hard. We were out there and I was like, should I take a Prozac before I go in? I was also on Prozac and I just like went off it like willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to be on any of this pharma shit. I've also been like under the influence of like pharma, birth control,
Hold
Prozac.
on. So, how do you get a person like you is usually smarter than most of the people around you, right?
I mean,
let's just assume, right? It's hard to take advice from people around you if you're like, I don't know if these people are smarter than me. Probably most of the people around you, you're more successful than. So like, why would I take advice from any of these motherfuckers? But what happens if those people have good advice that would help you reflect on your life and maybe make your life easier?
Yeah.
Would you push them away, or would you be willing to digest it?
I think it depends. I think when someone's giving you advice, you can usually tell if they're like
Authentic? or
yeah, if
genuine?
they really are trying to solve the problem or like show off or project. It seems like sometimes the people with their lives that are in most disarray are the ones that want to give the most advice. You
Kind of
know,
annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, just sort of like or someone that's trying to control you, or they want you to like owe them in some way. You know, I think we're in this sort of like as a species, like everyone's an expert in everything now. And I read this book and I watched this TED Talk, and you're like, can you just tell me what you think I should do? Like, I don't need you to quote 9 fake experts.